Cortisol doesn't just make you stress, it tanks your metabolism, shuts off ovulation, breaks down your muscle, and makes your body store fat, especially around your midsection. And here's the worst part: women are twice as sensitive to cortisol as men. And it's not just about feeling stressed, it's what cortisol is secretly doing to your hormones, metabolism, and ultimately fat loss. In this video, I'm breaking down the truth about cortisol, what it is, and how it hijacks your period and your progress, why it makes fat loss a lot harder, especially for women, and what you can actually do to fix this. So if you're a busy woman trying to feel better, lose weight, and finally get your hormones on track, then this video is for you. Cortisol is your body's main stress hormone. It's made by your adrenal glands and ultimately helps you survive while you're under pressure. Like, for example, if you're running from a bear. But the problem? Today's bear is constant work stress, skipping meals, poor sleep, and emotional overload. And here's something that most women don't know. Estrogen increases our sensitivity to cortisol. So even regular stress hits us a lot harder. Cortisol regulates your metabolism, your blood sugar, inflammation, blood pressure, your sleep-wake cycle, your mood, and your energy. Now, don't get me wrong. Cortisol is essential in the short term, but when cortisol stays high all the time, it can lead to serious damage, especially for women. So when you're stressed, your brain signals the adrenals to pump out cortisol. This ultimately raises your blood sugar for quick energy, suppresses digestion, reproduction, and growth, and increases fat storage. So in the short term, once again, great for survival, but in the long term, it can cause weight gain, hormonal chaos, and burnout. So cortisol typically hits women harder because high cortisol disrupts estrogen and progesterone, which can ultimately cause period irregularities and PMS symptoms. Now, women typically already have higher levels of depression and anxiety, and cortisol can only exacerbate these symptoms, along with cravings, mood swings, poor sleep, and fatigue. So think of your hormones like a symphony. Cortisol is the fire alarm blaring during the performance, and nobody can play their part until it just shuts off. When cortisol levels are high, it actually shuts down something called GnRH, which is your master hormone signal. Now, without GnRH, your body doesn't release luteinizing hormone and FSH, which stands for your follicle stimulating hormone. These hormones are responsible for triggering ovulation, and without ovulation, you're left with irregular cycles, increase in PMS symptoms, and low progesterone levels. This is especially important during your luteal phase, which is the time right before your period. And during this time, your body is naturally more sensitive to stress. So if your cortisol is already high, your PMS symptoms are going to feel way worse. Now think those mood swings, cravings, bloating, and fatigue. And here's where it gets even messier. When your cortisol levels start to go up, your body starts to store more fat. Now, this isn't just about aesthetics. It's your body literally trying to protect itself because it thinks it's in crisis. High cortisol also boosts ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and lowers leptin, your fullness hormone. That means you'll feel hungrier and less satisfied after eating, making it way easier to overeat without even realizing it. On top of that, cortisol increases your cravings for those carbs and sugar. Your body is literally asking for a quick energy because it thinks it needs to survive from something very dangerous. And it doesn't stop there. Cortisol breaks down muscle tissue, which slows down your metabolism even more. So you're not only storing more fat, but you're also burning fewer calories at rest. And it becomes this vicious cycle. Stress raises cortisol, cortisol leads to fat gain, and gaining more fat probably creates even more stress unless you break the cycle. Now, these are things women typically do that ultimately backfire, especially when they're undergoing intense stress. They typically are over-consuming caffeine. They're probably skipping meals or fasting altogether, probably not sleeping enough, being depleted of iron, especially during menstruation, and ultimately not replacing or replenishing that source, and ignoring emotional stress. So you don't need to do a total overhaul of your entire life. You just need to send signals of safety to your body. So try your best to get those 7 to 9 hours of
quality sleep. Try to do daily nervous system resets, which includes breath work, going outside in nature, going for a walk, journaling. Become more aware and in tune of your cycle and how it impacts your stress or how your stress impacts your cycle. And eat within at least 60 minutes of waking up to ensure that you have that balanced meal of proteins, fats, and carbs. Now, it's easy to say, I'll fix this when life calms down, but that's not how cortisol works. If you don't manage it, it's going to lead to burnout, period loss, fertility issues, anxiety, belly fat, and possibly even emotional eating. So if this hits home for you and you're ready to stop the burnout and fat gain cycle, then book a free call and let's create a personalized plan for you that works with your hormones and not against them.